Praise the Darkness Jerky.
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again, introducing you to my Darkness 2 Dawn Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Chapter 6, this is the Strong Silent type. So if there was ever a video that I was going to get flagged for inappropriate on YouTube, this would probably be the one, because we're about to enter a whorehouse, and my goodness is there some cheeky things happening in this place. And it's appropriately dingy and dirty, and pretty scummy, so enjoy. And if YouTube gets on at me, I'll have to like blur that shit out or remove the video, but luckily enough, this is a pretty simple level. The only challenge of it is the fact we're going to be introduced to the Brotherhood. And they are the people that know about the darkness and wear protective armor and use flashbangs and things to make it a little bit more challenging than the standard thugs. But the first part, we're looking for the hooker named Venus, and she's dead easy to spot because you just want to look for the only person in the place who, if she fell forward, would not hit the floor. She has that big of a chest. It is ridiculous. It's like two Zeppelins, man. Two Zeppelins racing for support. She's going to have lower back problems all the way up and all the way through her life. But here she is over here. She blows that guy off and you can give her a chat. And she actually drops the act when you go into the elevator. And she's probably a decent person, but I just get lost in her chest. Just can't stop staring. It's like hypnotic. It's ridiculous. It's like that dinosaur on Jurassic Park that has that really cute face, and then it starts doing that stupid like thing, and it grows those like cobra wings on its head and starts spitting shit at that fat dude. But you follow to a lift, and she's gonna take it up, and you're gonna get a gun. But I'm not going to talk strategy on this video until it needs it, because I want to talk some movie and some film talk, because this is not the easiest game to commentate over, because a lot of it's just point, shoot, slash, you know, eat his heart, try not to stare too much at that lady's titties, carry on, you know, repeat ad nauseum. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the new episode of House, which is Season 8, Episode 11, I believe. It aired last week, or this week, depending. Last week it aired, I think. I can't even remember what day it is, that's how tired I am, you'll have to bear with me. But it was a pretty good one, and it is going to be filled with spoilers, my discussion, so just bear that in mind as we walk past the BJ room. Look at that excited person over there. And then there's some random crack addict in there. Can't remember what this one is, or some just, you know, some coke fiend or meth junkie laying on a bed. There's a note to self, this is not a very pleasant looking place. This guy's having a whale of a time, look at him go. Slap that ass. Nice and inappropriate. But anyhow, House. Greg Yatan has directed this most recent episode, and he's one of the best directors on the show. Every time he gets an episode, it's probably going to be a decent one, and this one was no less. The only problem is I completely feel like they copped out at the end. They just cowered it out. And the reason for this is there is a section that happens in it where one of the main characters, who's been in the show since the very beginning, gets stabbed in the heart with a scalpel. And I knew it was going to happen before it did, because as soon as he moves into the room with the patient that they think might have, you know, paranoid episodes, they do a close-up on the scalpel in the instrument tray, and it's just telling you that someone's going to kick off with it. Because why the hell would they draw attention to this instrument without it being something important? And there's a struggle, he gets stabbed, and they think he's going to die, and it's kind of tense at first, because it's kind of telling it in retrospect as an interview, because they think that there might have been some doctor's negligence in the whole matter, because as any House fan knows, Dr. House is as cavalier as it gets, and his methods are unorthodox and frowned upon. And all the way through this interview process that they're talking to this guy, who's asking about the case and asking whose liability it was, you don't see Chase at all doing this interview, so it kind of makes out that he's probably going to be dead. And I kind of thought he was, but it turns out he didn't die, and there's this whole, you know, threat of him being paralysed because there's these cysts that are growing in his spine because of where the knife wound was. And it's a good episode, because I do think, aside from the first episode, the opener, this has been a weak season, because there was so much potential change, because Cuddy left and House got arrested and he was in the shit pit with Wilson and all that stuff, and half of his team actually left. So there was, you know, this complete open canvas for them to change the mechanics of the show and do something really risky and really different, because It's season 8 now, and we've had this formula for a long time, and don't get me wrong, I love House. I can sit and watch House, but even I was starting to think that it was getting kind of formulaic, and shows like this that start, you know, I said start twice then for some reason, when they start to repeat that pattern, and they do the whole fucking, you know, Law and Order thing, it's eventually going to end, and I had the feeling that this could potentially be the last season because it won't get renewed unless they do something new and fresh. Oh, by the way, he will only climb in the vent if you talk to him, and I was waiting for him to do so, and I just realised that there's a prompt, so don't be an idiot like me and stand there waiting for him to climb up, because he won't. You've got to prompt him to do it. But I just feel like the season's been so safe so far, and it's not really gelled right with me, but this episode hopefully has kicked it up the arse, and the ones to follow could possibly build on this pretty cool, you know, prospect of change. But I don't know what y'all people think. I hope some of my subscribers are House fans, because Hugh Laurie is a boss. He's a fucking English treasure, and I love the guy, and he's probably got the finest American accent on TV, considering that the guy is a full-on English dude, because he never drops out of it. He's amazing. But yeah, what did your people think of the most recent episode? I thought it was a better change of pace, but it just, they should have killed him. They should have had that shock moment, because Chase has been in it far too long. I like him, but the show needs change. It needs change, folks. It really does. But another thing I'm going to talk about is something I was reading on IMDb the other day, because I don't know if you know this, Arnold Schwarzenegger obviously can't go for another term as governor because he's had his time in the sun, and it turns out it was just a big old dirty muscle-bound figurehead for his wife because he's a silly bastard, and he's realised that his real passion is movies, and now that he's put on all that weight and his muscles turned to fat and you can see like 3 chins and he looks like Skeletor because he's so withdrawn and getting old, he's going to go back and make movies. And one of them that's been announced is him teaming up with Sylvester Stallone, who looks fantastic for his age, because he's probably injecting horse tranquilizer into his face just to stay alive. And it's going to be about a prison, and it's called The Tomb. And the general premise is Sylvester Stallone is this super awesome architect who's designed this unbeatable prison that people can't escape from, this, you know, this new version of Alcatraz. And for whatever reason, he ends up getting sent to prison. Dun dun dun! And he's forced to escape from his own impregnable prison. You see what they've done there? And Arnie is going to be an inmate with several shades of character. He's going to be this really deep, interesting character study of a dude who has to survive in prison by doing all sorts of stuff. So not only is he coming back to acting after like a 6-year break, but he's also coming back and doing really complicated roles as opposed to just being a muscle-bound idiot that chews badly through his lines and shoots every dude in the face without aiming. So don't know how smart this is going to be, don't know how much makeup they're going to have to plow on his face to make him look anything less than a corpse, but I'm excited nonetheless. And I like prison films. There's something about a good prison film that gets me going. And I'm not just talking Shawshank Redemption, I'm talking like that section in Tango and Cash where they have to escape. There's something cool about fighting in a prison and just kicking ass in prisons. I like prisons, I don't know why. And I know in the reality prisons are just places for small people to get raped and everybody else to get stabbed and paedophiles to get what they deserve, but in movie land, prisons are these endearing places where cool things happen. And speaking of that, there's actually a film with Guy Pearce coming out where he's going to have to infiltrate only one man can get in this prison and do something cool because, like, the president is being captured. And I'm not too sure what it's called, but I'm excited for that because I like Guy Pearce and it looks kind of actiony. My only criticism of it is the trailer's about 3 minutes long and it shows you the entire film, so I feel like I don't have to watch it now, which is kind of funny. But it's been about 8 minutes and I haven't talked about the game, so I probably should. And this section here, we're up against the Brotherhood, and these dudes, they have masks on that make them more resilient to getting shot. So they're going to take a couple more bullets than you used to. But if you pick up the environment and you throw shit at them, or you use the executions, they're just as vulnerable as everything else. Now, you'll notice I now have the Darkness Shield. I don't know when I bought it, but how cool do my hands look? Complete and utter boss mode. I love it. And the weapon system on this game is kind of weird as well. You can hold a pistol, a submachine gun and a shotgun at the same time. But the assault rifles replace the shotgun and pistols replace the submachine gun, so you want to be careful. And This bit was kind of stupid because I should have shot the light instead of throwing my shield, but you know, I made a mistake. It's just how it works. And a couple people watching this might get a little bit frustrated with this fight coming up with the revolver, because these guys, they take 2 shots to kill with the revolver, and when you have to revolve this bag of shit, it takes forever unless you have sleight of hand perk unlocked. And I've already mentioned that you should probably buy that upgrade because it's really useful, but at this moment in time I didn't have it, so I'm just dirty harrying these guys and hoping for the best. So you'll notice I'm shooting the generators. It makes this room a little bit easier because there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of light, and the last thing you want is to be like Dolph Lundgren in Blackjack. And if anybody doesn't get that reference, he's afraid of the colour white, and it goes all black and white and he starts having like panic attacks. Really dumb film, but it's John Woo. He gets 2 guns, and I like watching a dude shoot people when they're all shooting at him and missing, because you know, it's kind of cool. But one technique that you might have seen me doing so far that you might not have thought of is, if you're at full health and there's hearts laying around, do not eat them until later on, because you can go through into the next area as long as you don't go too far in front and you can't get back. You can have a firefight, take some damage, and come back and heal yourself. It's just a way of leaving a med pack on the ground for you to come back and pick up later. And it's a super useful one as well. Shotgun guys, self-explanatory really. If he gets close, he will do a lot of damage, so you want to make sure he doesn't get the opportunity. That is a melee guy that's trying to hit me right now, but I'm invulnerable during that animation, so as soon as you come out of it, whip your talon, or whip your tentacle to take him out. And then just carry on. Just shooting dudes. And a section coming up is kind of bullshit, because you're going to go into a room, you're going to start shooting some dudes, and we're going to turn lights on, and there's nothing you can do. It's programmed to make you die, and I fight it like hell. I move back even though you move super slow, and I shoot everybody, so it actually fades out before they kill me, which is kind of funny. But this UMP is so sexy on this game. It's not the strongest weapon. Even when you get the explosive round upgrade, it's still pretty weak, but boy is it fun to use, and does it have really nice iron sights. And a little factoid about the weapons in this game, if you're wondering, they were designed by this guy. I think he's called Lone Wolf, and he's a freelance weapon designer who models the weapons and textures them. And the coolest thing about this is, this guy started on Counter-Strike mods, making weapons, and everything he's learnt is self-taught. This dude taught himself how to model, how to texture, and he's now actually getting contracted work from massive developers to make the weapons. And he designed all the guns in this game, and he also designed the weapons in Modern Warfare 3. So if you're wondering why they look a little bit more cartoony and stylized than the more realistic Modern Warfare 2 guns, it's because they were designed by the same guy that did this one. And he's a really inspiring story. I would recommend you check him out. I think he's called Lone Wolf. I read about him on the internet, and I think he's like Egyptian as well. He lives in some like crazy country, but the guy's a boss. But this is the end of the level. This is where you're supposed to die, but I refuse to and actually kill the guy trying to kill me. And then this guy comes over and I fall over, and that is the end of the level. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and you take care now.